तस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवम् श्रीराधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So welcome to the seminar on Sanatana Shiksha, teachings of Lord Chaitanya to Sanatana Goswami. We are on the chapter 21, which specifically discusses the Aishwarya, the opulence and the sweetness of Lord Krishna. So in yesterday's class, we saw how within Krishna's Aishwarya, there is how Krishna is Trayadish. And we saw the three meanings of Trayadish. One was the Samanya meaning, the general meaning, and that is the Lord is the Lord of the three Gunavatars, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And then we saw the Madhyama meaning, the middle meaning, how the Lord of the three Purushavatars, that is the meaning of Trayadish. And then we saw the Ghood or the confidential meaning, how Trayadish means the Lord of the three Dhams, the Golok Dham, the Hari Dham, and the Devi Dham. The Mahesh Dham is in between the Devi Dham and the Hari Dham. It is in between. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says it is, it's inconceivable to the human mind to discuss about Vakya Agochara, about the transcendental opulence of the spiritual world. So let me discuss the opulence in the material world, how Krishna manifests his opulence in the material world. So there is the Ekpad Vibhuti and the Tripad Vibhuti. So within this section, we saw the discussion on the Ekpad Vibhuti of the Lord. the opulence of the Ekvad Vibhuti of the Lord. This is what yesterday we started our discussion. And this is not the Brahma Vimohan Leela, which happened in Vrindavan. This is another Leela, which happened in Dwarka. Ek Dine Dwarkate. So we began this, and how we saw Brahma was asked, Kon Brahma? Which Brahma has come? Brahma was bewildered, and then Krishna meditated, and all the Brahmas and Shivas from the unlimited universes were coming and offering obeisances. Only our Brahma was able to see this, and he was bewildered. Then he understood. He felt he's like a rabbit in front of so many elephants. So this was the opulence Krishna demonstrated in the Dwarka Leela. And yesterday we came to this text 80 verse, so we will continue our discussion from here on. Tabe Krishna Sarva Brahma Gane Vidaye Dila Dandavata Hana Sabe Nija Ghare Dila. Lord Krishna then bade farewell to all the Brahmas there. And after offering their obeisances, they all returned to their respective homes. So then, when all left back, then what happened to our Brahma? Let us see. Deki Chaturmukha Brahmara Oila Chamatkar Krishnera Charana Asi Kaila Namaskar. After observing all these opulences, the four-headed Brahma, Chaturmukha Brahma of this universe was astonished. Oila Chamatkar. He again came before the lotus feet of Krishna and offered his obeisances. Krishnera Charanasi Kaila Namaskar. Now, if you remember that when Brahma first arrived, he offered his obeisances and then offered prayers in glorification. And then Krishna asked, what brings you here? That I'll answer later on. But first tell me, why did he ask which Brahma? Is there any other Brahma apart from me in this universe? So that was when Krishna was, Brahma asked like this to Krishna, Krishna smiled. And now when he has shown his opulence, now Brahma is again, falling at the feet of Krishna and is offering obeisances now, but his obeisances is very, very deep. Because now he has now the Aishwarya Gyan of Krishna. That's what I was explaining. The more we understand the Aishwarya Gyan, more our surrender will go towards Krishna. More Bhagavan Sambandha will be established deeper and deeper. That's why Aishwarya Gyan is also very, very important. Brahma bole, Purve Ami, Ei Nishchay Karilun, Tara Udharan Ami Aji Ta Dekalun. Brahma said, whatever I formally decided about my knowledge, Purvami, Ei Nishchay Karilun, I think I have knowledge about you, I thought. I just now have personally verified. I personally have that realization now. And then this verse is quoted again from the Brahma's prayers from the 10th canto, 14th chapter. Jananta eva janantu kim bahutyak bahukta bahukta bahuyukta na me prabhu manaso vapaso vacha vaibhavam tava kochara. There are people who say, I know everything about Krishna, Janantu. Let them think in this way. As far as I am concerned, I do not wish to speak very much about this matter. Uktva means to speak. Na me Prabhu, I don't want to speak. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord, let me say this much. As far as your opulences are concerned, they are beyond the reach of mind, body, and words. Vaibhavam tava gochara. Manasa vapusu vachu. Body, mind, and words. Your opulences are beyond. So this is, Brahma's realization. If Brahma is saying this, then what about us? How, Brahma had the experience of Brahma Vimohan Leela, and then now in the Dwarka Leela, this. And Brahma is saying that I don't have, I cannot describe your opulences with my body, mind, and words. So there is one Upanishads called as a Prashna Upanishads. So there is an interesting verse there in the Prashna Upanishads. Prashna means inquiry, philosophical inquiry. And I don't know remember the verse, but the translation is that for those who know the Lord, they say they don't know. And those who don't know the Lord, they think they know. Just like a fisherman, every day he takes a boat and goes in the ocean. And he says, I know the ocean. Every day I'm in the ocean, fishing. So I know the ocean very well. But a PhD who has done oceanography, or he has studied the ocean very well, he has done his PhD, and he knows the depth of the ocean. He knows what all is there inside the ocean. He knows the vastness of the ocean. He has the knowledge about the ocean. But a sincere, humble PhD person who has all this knowledge, he says the ocean is fathomless. I really don't know the ocean. So he has knowledge. He is PhD in oceanography, but still he says that I don't have any knowledge about the ocean. This villager fisherman, he just always takes his boat and he's always on the surface floating in the ocean. He's uneducated, but he thinks he knows the ocean. So like that it is. So we have to meditate on this realization of Brahma in his prayers here. Krishna kahe, ei Brahmanda, panchashat koti yojana, ati shudra tate tomara chari vadana. Krishna said, your particular universe has a diameter of 4 billion miles. Therefore, it is the smallest of all the universes. Consequently, you have only 4 heads, because Brahma had seen 8, 12, 32, 64, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 10 million heads also, and he was bewildered. Is there any other Brahma? And he had seen all the Brahmas were very, very superior to him. So now Brahma has this realization. Actually, anyone knows that where does Brahma gets his creative power to create the creation? From whom does it derive? Anyone knows? Anyone has any idea about it? Where does he derive his creative power for creation? All the Brahmas in all the universes, I mean. Anyone knows? No response. Anyone has any idea? Where does Brahma get his Garbhodakshai Vishnu? Yes, in one sense it is coming from Vishnu only or Krishna, but I want to know the intermediary. Yes, Mataji?
हरे कृष्ण धन्यवाद प्रभु जी। भगवान के मतलब हृदय में, ब्रह्मा जी के हृदय में भगवान ने ज्ञान दिया
उसका. Yeah, that's also true, but anyone has heard about Hiranyagarbha Brahma? There's a Brahma called as Hiranyagarbha Brahma. So I'll show you in the Golok chart now. I'm sharing the screen. So here you can see that from Mahavishnu comes Shambhu in his distinct form. And actually from the different parts of the limbs of Mahavishnu, there are what are called as the Adi Devas. These Adi Devas, the 23 elements which evolute from the Prakriti or the Pradhan, from the Pradhan, these 23 elements, each of these presiding deities are there and they are called as the Adi Devas. And there is also Brahma there. And this Brahma is called as the Hiranyagarbha Brahma. And all these Brahmas which are there in the unlimited universes, they derive their creative potency from this Hiranyagarbha Brahma. Of course, here in the picture it is not there, but we can assume that all these Adi Devas are there. And these Adi Devas are, you know, uh, uh, they are not like the Devas which are there within the universe. They're quite different. Nor they are, you know, spiritual personalities from the spiritual world. But in the spiritual world also there is a Ganesh who is a deity, and he's the original Ganesh who is a devoted servant of the Lord. And the Ganesh within the material worlds also derive their power from here, this Ganesh. And his power is again coming from Narayan or Krishna, like that. So there is the Hiranyagarbha Brahma, from whom he derives the creative potency. All the Brahmas within the universe derive the creative potency. So this is one important understanding we should have. So I just briefly mentioned it. So this is the smallest universe. So let's see what Prabhupada says. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, one of the greatest astrologers of his time, gives information from the Siddhanta Shuromuni that this universe measures 18 into so many into 8 miles. You can't even fathom this figure. This is the circumference of this universe. According to some, this is only half the circumference. Kono Brahmanda Shatakoti, Kono Laksha Koti, Kono Niyuta Koti, Kono Koti Koti. This is the Aishwarya of the material world. Krishna is exhibiting the Aishwarya of the material world. Some of the universes are 1 billion yojanas in diameter. Some are 1 trillion, some are 10 trillion, some are 100 trillion yojanas. Thus, they are almost unlimited in area. And 1 yojana is 8 miles. And our Brahmand is how much yojanas? It is 4 billion miles. Just 4 billion miles. And these are what? 1 billion miles. 1 trillion miles. 10 trillion miles. 100 trillion yojanas. Not miles, sorry, yojanas. All are yojanas. Brahmandanurupa Brahmara Sharira Vadana Eirupe Pailami Brahmanderagana. According to the size of the universe, there are so many heads on the body of Brahma. In this way, I maintain innumerable universes, Brahmandas. Krishna is saying to Brahma, Ekapada Vibhuti Ihar Nahi Pariman Tripada Vibhutir Ara Kabe Kare Parinman. No one can measure the length and breadth of the 1/4 of my energy manifested in the material world. Who can then measure the 3/4 that is manifested in the spiritual world? What to speak of the 1/4 energy which is manifested in the material world? Even, this one universe also, we cannot fathom the length and breadth and the opulence, what is there. So where does in the Gita Krishna speak that, that this opulence of mine, it's just a small fragment. Where does Krishna speak about this in the Gita? Anyone knows? Can raise their hands. That is 1/4 image. It's just a fragment of my opulence. Where does Krishna speak about it? Parth Sarthi Prabhu raises his hand.
Hare Krishna Tanda Prabhuji. Ekamshena Sthito Jagat.
Yes. Ekamshena Sthito Jagat. 10.42 in the Gita, Krishna says, Atava bahunetena kim gyatena tavarjuna. Vishtabhyam aham idam Krishna ek amshena sthito jagat. Just by my one part, this entire whole material manifestation, one single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. So this refers to the entire Ekpad Vibhuti in the form of, Mahavishnu, in the form of Mahavishnu. So this is the opulence of the Lord. So it is dealt in the 10th chapter in the Vibhuti Yoga, and now it's more expanded here now. in this particular section. Okay. Now again, the reference is given to support this. Tasya pare para vyoma tripad bhutam sanatanam amritam shashvatam nityam anantam paramam padam. Beyond the river Virija is the spiritual nature, which is indestructible, eternal, inexhaustible, and unlimited. It is a supreme abode consisting of 3/4 of the Lord's opulence. It is known as Paravyoma, the spiritual sky. This is again from Padma Puran. This is again repeated, these verses previously. Tabe Krishna Brahmara Dilena Vidhaya Krishnera Vibhuti Swarab Jnana Janana Nayaya. In this way, Lord Krishna bade farewell to the four-headed Brahma of this universe. We may thus understand that no one can calculate the extent of Krishna's energies. Trayadeshwar Shabdera Artha Guda Arahai Tri Shabda Krishnara Tina Lokakaya. There is a very deep meaning in the word Traya Adishwar, which indicates that Krishna possesses 3 different lokas or energies. The word Trayadishwar means proprietor of the 3 worlds. There are 3 worlds, and Krishna is the supreme proprietor of them all. This is explained by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarvaloka maheshwara suridham sarva bhutanam gyatva mam shanti mrichati. A person in full consciousness of me, knowing to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. The word Sarvaloka means all 3 worlds, and the word Maheshwara means the supreme writer. So Sarvaloka Maheshwara. Prabhupada is focusing on that, here, proprietor of the 3 worlds. So the 3 planetary. Sometimes the planetary systems are divided into 14, sometimes 3, upper, middle, and lower. So here it refers to upper, middle, and lower. Krishna is the proprietor of both the material and the spiritual world. The spiritual world is divided into 2 portions, Golok Vrindavan and Vaikunthas. The material world is a combination of universes unlimited in number. Golokakya, Gokula, Mathura, Dwaravati, Aitina Loka Krishnera, Sahaja, Nitya, Sthiti. The 3 lokas are Gokul or Golok. They are used synonymously, Mathura and Dwarka. Krishna lives eternally in these 3 places. Okay, there's a question. Yes, Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna, Tanda Pranam, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, Shambhu in Mahesh Dham and Devi, as well as the Adi Devas, they live eternally? This is my question. Do they live, all these 3 live eternally?
Pardon?
Shambhu in Mahesh Dham, as well as Devi.
Devi means Devi?
Durga. And the Adi Devas, they all live eternally?
Okay. Yeah, I got a question. Basically, when Mahavishnu wants to perform the pastime of creation, then when he glances at Pradhan, his glance goes through Ramadevi, and as I mentioned, Sadashiv, who lives in the Sadashiv Loka, which is in the spiritual world partly, his manifestation, his expansion is Shambhu. So Shambhu manifests here. And the Adi Devas also manifest. So the Adi Devas perform the Leela of the creation. They assist all these 23 elements, they combine, and then the universes are found, and within the universes, the 14 planet system, the planets are formed. So for the life of the universe, they stay as part of the Leela. And then when Mahavishnu winds up, then all the creation is wound up. So then the play of the Adi Leelas is not there. And when again the creation uh, has to manifest, again these Adi Devas come into picture. So like that, it is happening. So in one sense, they are, participating whenever the pastime is required, and another sense it is always happening continuously, so it is eternal also. So it's like that. Is it clear, Prabhuji?
Here okay. So that means the Adi Devas are there only for during the when
The creation
Karanadaksha
manifest
Vishnu, when
glances when the
Karanadaksha Vishnu
creation.
is breathing out, when he's breathing out, giving
Yeah.
out all the universes. But what about Shambhu, Lord Shambhu and Durga Devi?
Just like if you ask me, okay, when Mahavishnu glances and universes come out of his pores, that time Garmadakshaya Vishnu is not there. But Mahavishnu later on expands himself and enters into the universe as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So till then, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is not present in one sense. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is an expansion of Mahavishnu. And then when Garbhodakshaya Vishnu performs his pastime of filling the universe into Garbhodak Sagar from his body's perspiration, and then he further expands into Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. Here you can see. So these come into play within the creation pastimes. So they are there, one within the other. So similarly, Shambhu is an expansion of Sadashiv. So when the pastime is required, he expands.
I see.
Got it?
The pastime is.
Yeah. Good question. The three lokas are Gokul, Mathura, Dwarka. Krishna lives eternally in these three places. Srila Prabhupada. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments that in the Golok planet, there are three divisions: Golok, Gokul, Mathura, and Dwarka. In his incarnation, Sir Gausundar, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord conducts his pastimes in three areas: Navdeep, Jagannath Puri and South India, and Vrajamandal, the area of Vrindavan. So we all know that Krishna performs his pastimes in Vrindavan, Mathura, and Dwarka. That's why he has these three abodes. Similarly, Mahaprabhu performs his pastime in Navdeep, Jagannath Puri, including South India, and Vrindavan. So these are the three most holy places for Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Not so much Dwarka and Mathura, but definitely within Mathura Mandala is the Vrindavan. But these are the three places of Gaur Leela and Krishna Leela. So if you again see in the Golok chart, you can see here there is this is the Gokul, and there is Mathura and Dwarka, and there is a hidden blue color. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Navdeep Dham Mahatme mentions of the secret hidden abode, which is Jagannath Puri. This is also there. So that is mentioned there. Antaranga Purna Ishwarya Purna Tina Dham Tineradishwara Krishna Swayam Bhagavan. These three places are full of internal potencies, and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is their sole proprietor. So, 1 second. I think, yeah, it's up till 99. Okay. पूरोक्त ब्रह्मांडेर यत दिक्पाल अनंत वैकुंठावर्ण चिरलोकपाल तान सबार मुकुट कृष्ण पाद पीठ आगे दंडवत काले कैले तारा मणि पीटे लागे. As previously mentioned, Purva Ukta, The jewels on the helmets of all the predominating deities of all the universes and Vaikuntha planets touched the throne and the lotus feet of Krishna when those deities all offered obeisances. This is in that pastime which happened in Dwarka, when Brahma saw all these. Mani pite ta kha tekhi uthe jhanjhani pitera stuti kare mukuta hena anumani. When all the gems on the helmets of all the predominating deities collided before the throne and the Lord's lotus feet, there was a jingling sound which seemed like prayers offered by the helmets at Krishna's lotus feet. Nija Chitta Shakti Krishna Nitya Virajaman Chitta Shakti Sampattira Shad Aishwaryanam. Krishna is thus eternally situated in his spiritual potency, and all the opulences of that spiritual potency are called Shadaishwarya, indicating 6 kinds of opulences. Sei Swarajya Lakshmi Kare Nitya Purnakam Ataeva Vede Kahe Swayam Bhagavan. Because he possesses the spiritual potencies which fulfill all his desires, Krishna is accepted as the Supreme Personality Godhead. This is the Vedic version. Swayam Bhagavan. Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam. Bhagavan hai sambandha. So whole discussion, the more we attain or try to get knowledge about Bhagavan, then our sambandha gyan becomes stronger and stronger. And then, the abhidheya, we will practice the abhidheya and attain the prayojan. So that's why so much in detail Mahaprabhu is giving the Aishwarya Gyan of Bhagavan here. Krishnera Aishwarya Apara Amritara Sindhu Avagha Ite Nari Tara Chiluna Ekabindu. The unlimited potencies of Krishna are just like an ocean of nectar. Amritara Sindhu. Since one cannot bathe within that ocean, I have only touched a drop of it. Chaka Eko Bindu. The Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu also, same verses as Rup Shiksha. So now, this is the second section, major section from 99 to 120, 149. After describing the Aishwarya Gyan, now Krishna's Madhurya Gyan, the sweetness of Lord Krishna's form will be described. So this is there in 4-5 sections. The first part is from 99 to 110, where the qualities of Krishna's transcendental form are mentioned. What are the qualities of Krishna's form is mentioned. This is more, poetic and more relishable. So we will start this section. Before that, any questions anyone has up till now, what we have discussed? Okay, so then we will go to this last section. Aishwara kahite prabhura Krishna spurti hala madhurera majila mane ekashloka padila. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was describing the opulences and the spiritual potencies of Krishna in this way, there was an awakening of love of Krishna within him. His mind became immersed in the sweetness of conjugal love, Madhurera Majilaman. And he quoted a following verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is what happens, that the more we attain Aishwarya Gyan, then naturally our love for Krishna in the heart will manifest. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam huda bhava samanyuta. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Everything is manifesting from me. So this verse, which is the beginning of the Chatur Shloki verse of the Bhagavad Gita, 10.8 to 10.4, 11 are called as the Chatur Shloki Gita. Everything, aham sarvasya prabhu, all the material and the spiritual worlds manifest from me. Matta sarvam pravartate. And not only that, all the sadhanas, different types of sadhanas also, they're coming from me, whether it is yoga, jnana or bhakti. Iti matva, understanding, bhajante mam. So the more you understand the Aishwarya Gyan, the more deeper you will absorb in bhajan. How? With knowledge. Buddha. So Aishwarya Gyan, with that awakening of transcendental intelligence, we practice bhakti, and with that Buddha, what will happen? Bhava. Bhava means the heart, the emotions. So Buddha Bhava Samanvita. So our journey in bhajan is from the head to the heart. So the head to the heart is just, the distance is very less. You can see, you can just measure it with your half hand from the elbow to the palm. This is the distance, but to travel this distance in our practice of Krishna consciousness, it takes many years or many lifetimes. So the more we study, especially the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and attain this Bhagavat Gyan, Bhagavat Sambandhit Gyan, Bhakti Gyan, and the more we practice with this knowledge, our bhajan, then slowly, slowly the bhav will come. And then we will, start, there is an awakening of love, as it is mentioned here. Krishna Spuriti Haila, Madhuryara. So slowly, slowly, naturally, the awakening of that bhava will happen. But for that, it's not something sentimental. It is, tattva. So the more we study tattva, then rasa will slowly manifest. Rasa will slowly manifest. So that's why I am now just taking you to Bhakti Tattva Vivek, where Bhaktivinoda Thakur in chapter 1, the intrinsic nature of devotion, one particular part is very important. When in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu verse, it is mentioned, Anya Bilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadya Navritam Anukulena Krishnanu Sheelanam Bhaktir Uttama. So, Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam. The Sarupa Lakshan, the intrinsic characteristic is that one should favorably do devotion to Krishna, who is Bhagwan. And our object of devotion is not Brahman, Paramatma, but it is Bhagwan. So this Bhaktivinoda Thakur deals quite extensively in his work. And within that, he states that Bhagwan is realized as Madhurya or Aishwarya. But Madhurya realization is superior. So Krishna in his Aishwarya form as Vaikuntanath, Narayan, where he manifests his Aishwarya, and Krishna in the form of Gopavesh, Swayam Bhagwan, Krishna, where there is only sweetness. So the Madhurya realization is superior to the Aishwarya realization. This is the point, because this point came, that there was a understanding the Aishwarya, there was awakening for the Madhurya. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur nicely presents this point here. So I'm just taking this only one particular portion from there. Out of these three manifestations, that is Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagwan of the Absolute Truth, it is only the manifestation of Bhagwan's personal form that is the object of Bhakti. So Bhagwan's personal form is the object of Bhakti. But even within Bhagwan's personal manifestation, there is one important distinction. When the internal potency, Sarup Shakti, displays its complete opulence, Aishwarya, there Bhagwan appears as Vaikuntanath, Narayan. And when the internal potency displays its supreme sweetness, Madhurya, there Bhagwan appears as Sri Krishna. So the Aishwarya Gyan, when the Sarup Shakti displays, it is Narayan. And when the internal potency displays the sweetness, Madhurya, then Bhagwan appears as Krishna. Despite being predominant almost everywhere, Aishwarya loses its charm in the presence of Madhurya. In the material world, we cannot draw such a comparison. No such example is visible anywhere. So in the material world, everyone is attracted to, material opulence, and that attracts people. Big, tycoons, business magnates. People are attracted to them because they possess wealth. But their simple feature of being uh, being a humble person who is just doing some simple service of, say, driving a chauffeur driven car, and the driver who drives the owner, he sits backside, but the owner drives. It never happens. Nobody will do that. It's quite embarrassing for somebody who's so rich, who has got a Mercedes chauffeur driven car, limousine, what is called as limousine. Will ever the owner tell, oh, every day you're serving me so nicely, you sit backside and I will drive the car for you today? It never happens. But Krishna, see the Madhurya, that he's Sarvaloka Maheshwar, and he's driving the chariot of Arjuna out of love, out of prema. So that is the sweetness, and that attracts. Because the driver of this business magnate, he is doing service, but there is some remuneration. It is not selflessly done. So when the devotee does pure devotion, Krishna is attracted by that devotion, and Krishna completely gives that himself to that devotee. So that is the feature, and it is nowhere, there is no comparison anywhere in the material world. In the material world, Aishwarya is more influential than Madhurya, but in the spiritual world, it is completely the opposite. There, Madhurya is superior and more influential than Aishwarya. So, I know in South India, in South Karnataka, especially in Melukote, there is one day where there is a festival where Chalu Narayana Swami, that is the presiding deities of Melukote, and there is Ramapriya, the deity which was worshipped by Lord Ram from Treta Yuga, it is there. So Chalu Narayan Swami, Chalu means very charming, very beautiful. Narayan, the Sri Vaishnavas, it is belonging to the Sri Sampradaya. So there's one pastime where Garuda was carrying the helmet of the Lord, and this helmet from the spiritual world, please remember, from the spiritual world came down in this material world, and this helmet is studded with diamonds and jewels, and they are not of this world. And this is stored, kept in the treasure of the government of Karnataka. And once a year, on this particular festival day of the Brahmotsav, I think, this helmet Narayan wears, and there is a procession which goes on. And practically all the South Sri Vaishnavas, all the devotees just come to, have the darshan of Narayan wearing this helmet. So in the material world, the Aishwarya is more influential. But what does Krishna wear in Vrindavan? He just wears a peacock feather, and he dresses, he decorates himself with some leaves and some flowers of Vrindavan. But that is more superior compared to that helmet, which is of the Vaikuntha planet, which is studded with diamonds and jewels, not of this world, but of the spiritual world, diamonds and spiritual jewels. So Madhurya is more superior and more influential than Aishwarya. Oh, my dear devotees, all of you just deliberate upon Aishwarya at one time, and then afterwards lovingly bring sentiments of Madhurya into your hearts. So Bhuda Bhava. So from the Bhuda, you have to come to the Bhava here. By doing so, you will be able to understand this truth. Just as in the material world, when the sun rises and consumes the moonlight, similarly, when the taste of sweetness of Madhurya appears in the devotee's heart, he no longer finds Aishwarya to be tasteful. So this is what he says. He gives an example of sun consumes the moon. Similarly, with the Aishwarya Gyan, Once the bhava comes for Krishna's sweetness, then the Aishwarya, no. That's why Krishna in Vrindavan, although he shows his Aishwarya, but devotees, they don't recognize it. They don't recognize that he's God also. They're so much attracted to his Aishwarya feature in different moods, bhavas like Dasi, Sakya, Vatsalya and Madhuri. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur quotes Rupa Goswami's verse from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Siddhantatasva abhedapi Shrisha Krishna Swarupayoh Rasot Karshate Krishna Rupam Esha Rasa Sthiti. Though the forms of Vishnu and Krishna are non-different, there's no difference between Nara and Vishnu according to the statements of scripture. Siddhanta tata tu. From the Siddhanta point, there's no difference. Krishna's form is shown to be superior because of his rasas. Krishna Swarupa, rasa utkarsha, rasotkurshate, krishnate. Based on rasa, there is superiority, which is endowed with the highest type of prema. The very nature of his rasa shows Krishna's form to be superior. So Krishna's form is Madhurya. Narayan form is Aishwarya. So now, how you can see that the more you attain this Madhurya, Aishwarya Gyan, then slowly the Krishna Spurita Hoila Madhurya, the Madhurya will slowly come out. Here it is happening. Mahaprabhu with his example as a devotee showing. And if we also practice understanding Krishna Tattva, slowly, we will come to this point. So he remembered what? Eka Shloka Padila. So we are coming back to Chaitanya Charitamrita, Eka Shloka. Which is that Shloka? This is the Shloka. Any questions up till now, what we have discussed? Any questions or any clarifications? Okay. Yanmartya Lilopaikyam Swayoga Mayabalam Darshayata Grihitam Vishmapamam Vishmapanam Swasya Cha Saubagardaye Parampadam Bhushanangam. To exhibit the strength of his own spiritual potency, Lord Krishna manifested a form just suitable for his pastimes in the material. Yan Martya Leela Anupaikam Swayoga Maya. By his own spiritual Maya Balam, he manifested a form. This form was wonderful even for him. Visma means to become astonished, and was a supreme abode of wealth of good fortune, Saubhagya. It was Saubhagya. His limbs were so beautiful that they increased the beauty of the ornaments worn on different parts of his body. Parampadam Bhushanangam. Prabhupada says that this is from the 3rd canto, 2nd chapter, 12th verse, Buddha speaking to Maitreya. So when he quoted this verse, Mahaprabhu, then what happened? He starts elaborating now. Krishnera yateka kela sarvotama naralila narva putahara swarupa opavesha venukara nava kishora natavara naralila haya anurupa. Krishna has many pastimes. Yateka khela. Khela means pastimes. Of which his pastimes as a human being are the best. Sarvotama Naralila. His form as a human being is the supreme transcendental form. Nara Vapu Tara Swarup. In this form, he is a cowherd boy. Gopavesh. He carries a flute in his hand. Venu Kara. Kar means hand. His youth is new. Navakishore. He is also an expert dancer. Natavara. All this is just suitable for his pastimes as a human being. Nar lila haya anurupa. They are all suitable for his pastimes. Further, Mahaprabhu starts describing now the Madhurya feature of the Lord. Krishnera Madhura Rupa Suno Sanatan Ei Rupera Ek Kana Dubaye Sabat Ribuvan Sarva Prani Kare Akarshan. My dear Sanatan, Suno Sanatan, the sweet, attractive, transcendental form of Krishna is so nice. Just try to understand it. Even a fractional understanding of Krishna's beauty, Eka Kana, can merge all the three worlds in an ocean of love. Dubai Sabatribuvan. He attracts all living entities within the three worlds. Sarva Prani Kare Akarshan. Yogamaya Chit Shakti Vishuddha Sattva Parinati Tara Shakti Loke Dekhaete Ei Rupa Ratan Bhakta Ganera Guda Dhan Prakata Kaila Nitya Lila Haite. The transcendental form of Krishna is shown to the world by Lord Krishna's internal spiritual energy, Yogamaya Chit Shakti, which is a transformation of pure goodness, Vishuddha Sattva Parinati. This jewel-like form is the most confidential treasure of the devotees. Bhakta Ganara Gurdhan. This form is manifested from Krishna's eternal pastimes. Prakata Kaila Nitya Lila Haite. Eru. Rupa Deki Apara Krishnera Hala Chamatkar Aswadite Mane Uthe Kama Swa Saubhagya Yandranam Saundar Adi Gunagram Eirupa Nitya Taradham. The wonderful form of Krishna in his personal feature is so great that it attracts even Krishna to taste his own association. Indeed, Krishna becomes very eager to taste it. Total beauty, knowledge, wealth, strength, fame, and renunciation are the 6 opulences of Krishna. He is eternally situated in his opulences. So Krishna's form is so wonderful that Krishna himself is attracted to that form and he wants to taste that form. Interesting, right? So this pastime happened once in Dwarka, that Krishna was going in one of the palaces and the pillar, which is all bedecked with diamonds and jewels, and they were like mirrors, and Krishna saw his own form. And seeing the form, Krishna was so attracted that he just wanted to embrace it. And he was amazed. Oh, what is this beauty? He was so attracted to it. So Krishna himself gets attracted and he wants to taste it. Krishna has many pastimes, of which his pastimes in Golok Vrindavan, the Gokul Leela, are supreme. He also has pastimes in the Vaikunthas, the spiritual world, as Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Anuruddha. In his pastimes in the spiritual sky, he lies down in the causal ocean as Karanarva Shai, the Purushavatar. His incarnations as the fish, tortoise, and so on are called his causal incarnations, or incarnations for particular occasions. He incarnates in the modes of nature as Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu. He also incarnates as empowered living entities like Prithu and Vyas. The Supersoul is his localized incarnation, and his all-pervasive aspect is the impersonal Brahman. When we consider impartially all the unlimited pastimes of the Lord, we find that his pastimes as a human being on this planet, wherein he sports as a cowherd boy with a flute in his hands and appears youthful and fresh like a ballet dancer, are pastimes and features that are never subjected to material laws and impurities. The wonderful beauty of Krishna is presented in the supreme planet, Gokul, Golok Vrindavan. Inferior to that is his representation in the spiritual sky. And inferior to that is his representation in the external energy, Devidam. So the highest pastimes happen in Gokul. Inferior to that is Vaikuntha. Inferior to that is the Devidam. A mere drop of Krishna's sweetness can drown these three worlds: Gokul, Vrindavan, Haridham, and Devidham. Everywhere Krishna's beauty merges everyone in the ecstasy of transcendental bliss. Actually, the activities of Yogamaya are absent in the spiritual sky and the Vaikuntha planets. She simply works in the supreme planet Goloka Vrindavan, and she works to manifest the activities of Krishna when he descends to the material universe to please his innumerable devotees within the material world. So, in one sense, the activities of Krishna in Mathura or Vrindavan are more superior. Yogamaya really does this to please the devotees here. This does a replica of Golok Vrindavan planet, and the pastimes there is manifested on this planet on a specific tract of land, Bhauma Vrindavan, the Vrindavan Dham on this planet. So the pastimes of Vrindavan in this material world are more in one sense superior to even there. Because one of the reasons is that Yogamaya acts in such a way to please the innumerable devotees. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. So paritranaya means the sadhus here are feeling deep anguish in their heart because of separation of not seeing Krishna. And this cry of the pure devotees, Krishna fulfills by coming and showing his beautiful form and performing wonderful pastime with his devotees here. This happens by Yogamaya arrangement here. So that's why Krishna descends in the material world. So we will stop here. Any questions, any clarifications? We'll continue our discussion. We need another 2 more classes to finish this wonderful narration of Krishna's sweetness. Any questions or clarification anyone has? Okay, so we'll stop here. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada